the New York Times, and many other places. So good to see you. How are you all? It's Thursday. And once again, I'm going to draw something that's in the news that's of interest to me and maybe you. Um, I'm a cartoonist, as I said, and a writer, and I do a lot of different kinds of drawings. Different uh, topics include, life and politics, but I also write. So, how are you guys? Let's see who's here. Hi, Lucia from Santo Domingo. Hi. Hi, Mark from LA. Um, yeah, so it's always interesting to try to think of what I'm going to draw um, in any given day. And some days I don't have any ideas. I think if you watched me yesterday, I didn't have an idea, but I sort of did, and it came out okay. Today I have another idea and another thought, um, and I thought I'd just draw, and you can watch and comment and tell me what you think. And I'm going to take you out of this device. I have another device that I use, and I'm going to use a different tools today. Oftentimes I draw with pen and ink, but today I'm going to use something different. I'll show you what it is. Crash bang. Also, I very often draw with my iPad, and you'll see me as the pandemic eases, I'll be out in the world drawing from my iPad. And about 6 weeks ago, I was in New York City in Times Square, and I live drew what I was seeing in New York during the pandemic in Times Square, and broadcast that live. And I've drawn all kinds of political events, cultural events, the Oscars. Hope to get to go to the Oscars again. I've been 5 times to live draw that. So it's a pleasure and a joy to have you here and to see you and to talk to you. Who else is here? Hi Pablo from LA, Peter from Seattle. How are things up in Seattle? Any unrest in Seattle? I know Portland has had its issues. Hi Basidi, where are you from? Lucia says, I like the fake news idea. Well, was that an idea? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, right? Trying to draw fake news. Not an easy thing to draw. I think I did one about fake news. I'm trying to remember what it was. I'll have to think of that and bring it back to you tomorrow. But yeah, so I draw every day, and let me show you what I'm doing here. So this is a set of colored pencils that was a gift to me from this company. I went to visit them in Switzerland. Caran d'Ache is the name of the company. Really well-known, very old company. And these amazing pencils, and you'll see them how they work when I draw with them, which is going to be now. Who else is here? Anybody new join us? Nope. Good to see everybody. One thing I wanted to start with, just to talk about it. Oh, that's not what I want. An article in the New York Times today about, at this time of year, let's turn TweetDeck off. Too much noise. One thing, particularly this time of year, this year in particular, I'm focusing a lot on politics, and how can you not, because it's so crazy. But there's an article in the New York Times today about how in the U.S., 1 in 8 households don't get enough to eat. And so I thought, can you see what I'm doing? I just, this is not a cartoon. I just thought I would draw about this issue, bring it to our attention, because I'm guilty of not thinking about this kind of thing enough, because I get so keyed into politics. But people are suffering, and you wouldn't know it if you listened to Donald Trump. Everything's fine, according to him. The economy's great, and he thinks the economy is great because the tough stock market has been up. But people, 1 in 8 households don't have enough to eat in the United States. This is Liza Donnelly. I'm a cartoonist and a writer, and I draw the news. Today I'm just starting with this, and I'm going to draw something else about Trump in a minute. But I wanted to start with this because it's alarming. The pandemic is creating a fair amount of hunger in this country, and people don't have enough to eat. So I'm going to show you how this brush works. This pencil works. It bleeds a little bit when you put water on it. So anyway, start with that. Very sobering article in the New York Times about how many families, 1 in 8 households, don't have enough to eat. Lucia says, yes, they are. I stick with Prismacolor for now. I don't know what you're saying to me. Tipsy Tarot Talks. Hello. You said, good to see you. I told my partner about you. So, hey from Texas. Hey from Texas. How's Texas doing? Mark asks, hey, Liza, do you have more viewers? You do have more viewers, but they have not commented. Okay, good. So there's people out there, but they're not talking to me. Mark, this is a truly shocking figure. Yeah, 1 in 8 homes in the United States does not have enough food to feed themselves and their kids. So I wanted to bring that to our attention for a moment. You need some light on the situation. Is it too dark in here for you? Is that better? Pablo says Houston had about 800 eviction notices filed on Monday. Oh, wow. People are really struggling, and you wouldn't know it if you talked to Donald Trump. All right, so I was going to do a Trump drawing, and I will start now. Is it too distracting with this light being shadowy? So, just going to do this lightly, and I don't know if you can see. Other things in the news. Biden, as you may know, Biden is in Kenosha, Wisconsin today. He and I guess Jill probably went with him, are there to talk to the family of Jacob Blake, who was shot 7 times and now is paralyzed. Um, and he went saying he was going to build community, try to talk to the people there and talk about community. Trump went to Kenosha yesterday or day before, and he only was able to speak to the policeman there, and did not talk to the family. The family didn't want to talk to him. So now I'm going to use these wonderful. I tell you, I don't use these that often when I'm drawing my cartoons, but I have them and I love them. So I'm going to just experiment with you guys. You can watch me experiment and make mistakes. Is that the one I was using? Yeah. So Trump said the other day in a press conference or something, he said, hey, well, everybody should, vote by mail. But even though he's been making mail sound like it's corrupt and not going to work, and people will use it illegally. But he says, okay, if you're going to vote by mail, then go to the polls on election day and check and see if your vote worked. In essence, he was saying vote twice. And can you imagine the chaos that's going to cause? So let's see. Here we go. Not strong enough. A little too tentative here. There's the yellow. That's more like orange, but Add a little watercolor to this. So this is, I'm going to put some words on here in a minute, but I wanted to paint it first. So he's now trying to backtrack what he said about voting twice. But what Trump's tactic is to sow confusion and distrust, and he thinks that will help him win in November. And sadly, it might work, but we have to be careful to not let that happen. Voting is a sacred act in our country. It's got to be done right. This is too pale, I think. It's not forceful enough. I'll add some more pencil to define his face and his mouth in a minute. Red for his tie. I'll stop in a second and see if anybody has any comments. Hold on. I'd like to hear your comments as long as they're not mean. I mean, you can disagree with my style or my political point of view. That's fine with me. But meanness is not something I'll respond to. Meanness for meanness sake, like Trump. Let's give him. Where's my? I have him standing on a box. Thought I sharpened that. Where's the black one that I was using? There it is. I did sharpen it. A little too dark. I'm just experimenting. You're watching me experiment. This is not my normal style of medium. I don't usually use pencil, but I thought I would experiment today just because it's fun. Make that a little less. So I have him standing on a box. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Let's see what you guys are saying.